Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. We're your guides through sordid tales of movies, music, and pop culture. Our show is best experienced under the influence of cannabis, so now is your cue to light up. Now remember, drugs are dangerous. Please use responsibly, but do subscribe. And now your hosts, James Thomas and David Hawk.
There you are. Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. I am your host, Dave, and this is a very weird situation. I don't host the show very often, but Mr. James had to take care of some personal business tonight, so I'm taking over the captain duties tonight. And with me tonight, we have the lovely Miss Courtney Gunn, who joined us for our Harry Potter episode. Man, how are you? It's been a whole other world since the last time we saw you.
I know, man, in the before times, right? It's been wild. But yeah, no, my life's kept on keeping on, so it's been good.
All right. Well, welcome back to the show. And then it's the Santore project himself, Mr. Mike Santore. How the hell are you?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you very much. How are you?
Good, man. Where are you at right now?
I'm currently in Crossville, Tennessee.
Crossville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Santore, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Fuck, man. We have to get something out of the way to start off with. Fuck, dude, if 2020 wasn't already bad enough, I think today we lost probably the most important figure this year that eclipses everybody by far. Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. And she was old and she was sick, but it was still quite a shock. And it's really going to change the complexity of the 2020 election. I mean, she was a titan. She was a lioness. She was an idol. You know, she was a pop culture figure. I mean, she fought for women's rights and equality, LGBTQ rights. I mean, she was fucking amazing, and she had an amazing career, an amazing life, and what a huge fucking loss. And so, to start off the show, we wanna give a little bit of a moment of silence so we can all remember Miss Ruth Gator Oh my God, I'm so high. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. All right, it was going so well that I had to spit out her name. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg, rest in peace. Let's take a moment of silence. All right, guys. Well, it's gonna be kind of tough to beat that. I don't know. It's a big loss for sure. But you know what? We're here to smoke weed or have a little whiskey. We're here to forget about the world for a little bit. So let's spend the next couple hours. Let's not worry about the clusterfuck that is 2020. Tonight, let's have a good time. Let's relax. Let's fucking talk about some cartoons. Let's forget about the world for a little bit. So,
Woo!
Yeah. So, welcome
Cheers.
to the Mile High Podcast, guys. Cheers. Sláinte. Some good, fine Irish whiskey there.
Hey, the finest.
So, I introduced Miss Courtney and Santore. It's been a while, Courtney, since you've been back on the show. It's a little bit different since the last time you're here. We always like to start off the show just kind of talking about, what have you been up to? So it's been a while. It's a completely different world. And J.K. Rowling is now sitting public enemy number one since the last time I saw you. So I mean, this whole world is just going. Yeah. So I mean, what you doing since the last time I saw you?
Working nonstop. So as you might imagine, the cannabis industry has been booming since COVID because everybody either needs to drink or get high. So we have been nonstop. So I've just been working a ton. Yeah, that's really it. Not exciting. My company went through renovations, so that was exciting. I have a whole new store, but other than that, it's just been go.
Are you?
My world hasn't changed.
Are you able to tell us who you work for, or is that kind of verboten?
No, Lova Canico. I wore it right here.
Where is Lova Canico located?
There are 4 locations, but mine is at 2042 Arapahoe Street in downtown Denver, next to the ballpark. There's also one over off Colfax, one in Edgewater, and one in Aurora.
Well done. That's a good job. I think you should. We're gonna hire you for their advertising. I think it's great.
It's in the works. No.
It's in the works. That's all right. All right, Mr. Santori.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to give you a little bit of time because, yeah, you've been pretty busy this week. So why don't you tell us what's going on, Mr. Santori?
Well, what's going on is the Truckee Pacific boys, you and James, have got
That's
me
me.
become a travel blogger, and I've been traveling. And I experienced Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and now I'm in Tennessee. And so it's been fun. It's been real exciting and adventurous. So I'm having a good time. So thank you very much for allowing me to have these opportunities, and I'm blessed.
Yeah, dude. I mean, these videos, if you haven't checked out Santori Project, you can go to our website, www.truckypacific.com. You can follow us on Facebook, but make sure you're following the Santori Project because Santori is throwing out some really great videos. There was one about when he was in Memphis and he showed up to the hotel where Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated.
Yes.
His video was great. So tell us, how did you meet Cowboy and how that came
All right,
about?
so thank you for asking. So we were actually, what was interesting about that whole thing was I don't know. Do you remember the Memphis 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, West Memphis 3. We actually, that's the
Yeah.
border of Arkansas and Memphis, and I actually did a little drive by, and I, for personal reasons, I wanted to see it, but I didn't film anything about that because I thought it was too touchy subject because of little boys getting killed and stuff. I didn't like that, but
That's fair.
I didn't do anything with that, but I went there just for my own personal reason, just because it was, something I watched the movies, the documentaries, and I didn't want to do any filming of that because I didn't want to offend anybody or like come at anyone with, whatever, because, it's little kids that got killed, 36 years ago, but still, it's still little kids getting killed. But we have pulled up to, the hotel, and Mary Beth went around the building, and I stayed, and I was in the front, and Cowboy just walked up, and he just started talking to me, and we just had a nice conversation. And I asked him, I said, look, I'm doing somewhat of a travel documentary, blogging, and would you be interested in being part of the show? And he said, absolutely. So, he had a good time, and we videotaped him, and it turned out really good. And he's it was a cool little get together, and it was cool. And
Yeah,
that's
dude.
how we did it.
I think that your interview with Cowboy was fucking awesome. So I'm super impressed, and that's exactly the kind of show that we were expecting when we came up with Santori Project. So yeah, keep following Santori. You can follow them on Instagram. Like I said, www.truckypacific.com. Go to the Santori Project and just follow Mike, because the more people that follow him, the more money that we can make off of him. And so he doesn't have to live in shitty motels. We want to put him in like real hotels. But
Right.
we need people to watch him. So go and watch him at the Santori Project. It's really great.
And I'll do my best to keep you guys entertained, because I consider myself a comedian, a guitar player, and an entertainer, and that's what I want to do, is entertain people and get the minds off of what's going on in society today, and bring some entertainment to you also. Yeah,
That's
and
great.
tomorrow we're going to Dollywood, so we'll be
Dollywood.
filming. Yeah, we'll be filming some stuff from there tomorrow. So if you like Dollywood and if you like watching me, tune in for that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
Santori Project's great. All
Thank
right.
you.
So another tradition that we have here at the Mile High Podcast is we like to talk about stuff that we're watching. I like to watch a lot of movies and shows and listen to podcasts and shit. So I'm always like the most long-winded person. So I'm gonna go last. Courtney, what are you watching?
Because I haven't really had much time, I've just been rewatching a lot of Community, which is one of my
yes.
all-time favorite shows.
Yeah.
So that's really what I'm currently watching. Also Avatar: The Last Airbender is kind of like on consistent rotation there. We're getting into cartoons, so I'll save the nerdiness for later.
Well
And
played.
that's That's really it, honestly. Short-winded because I don't have a whole lot of time. I also have I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I feel like they're like more serious books. So,
What do you listen to? Tell.
well, there's this one. I just started this book called Atomic Habits. So we're gonna see where that goes. But I'm pretty excited. It's talking about being the best kind of person you can be through your habits.
All right. That sounds fun, of course. We got to talk about Community sometime because we just got into that show here. We spent all of quarantine just binging different shows. We just got done with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is
Love that
fucking
show.
amazing.
Yeah.
But Community is so great, and it's actually going to lead into our our cartoons conversation because Rick and Morty, created by Dan Harmon of
That's true.
Community.
That's true.
All right, Santori, what the fuck are you watching on the road, man? I'm sure there's some great television in Tennessee.
Oh yeah, there is. There's nothing but reruns. Like today, we rewatched Varsity Blues.
The show or the movie?
The movie. Yeah, no, I haven't seen the show.
I don't
but no,
watch
yeah, the
or
movie.
watch.
Yeah, no, that's what I call. It's just fun. We got the TV that they give us, and they basically it's just like basic cable kind of stuff. So and let's see, last night we kind of rewatched Steel Magnolias.
Magnolias, yeah, that's a tearjerker.
Yeah, so pretty much watching reruns of whatever the TV allows us and permit us to watch it. If there's like a cool old flick or whatever, we'll watch it. So Varsity Blues and just Steel Magnolias.
I'm a big old softie. I know you're a big old softie too. I'm sure you cried when Julia Roberts died at the end, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a little sad.
That's a very sad movie. Who do we got there, Courtney? Who's that?
This is Rue. This is my boyfriend's dog / my little doggy.
Do you have your other dog, the little white one?
He's
Pippin,
here.
right?
Rue, yeah, Pippin.
Oh, I love it.
Come here, say hi. Come here.
Yeah, we're stopping the podcast because I want to see some dogs. So that's how
fine.
this.
Hey,
Yeah, look at
dogs
that.
all day. Dogs all day.
He's a
He's
good
a
boy.
big old puffball.
He is my big old puffball. Yes, so fluffy, aren't you? Yes. All right.
All right. So, like I said, I'm the most long-winded person. So James always knows to go to me last when we're talking about shit that we watch because I watch a bunch of shit. So
Right.
I'm gonna narrow it down. I went and saw Tenet in the movie theater. The movie theaters are opening up. I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I love his movies, but some of his movies are super hard to understand. So I took my kid. Think about it. Go back through his catalog. They're fucking.
You're right.
Even the Batman movies are kind of hard to understand.
They're dense.
So we went to IMAX. They opened up IMAX. There was actually about 20 people in the theater. It was like the opening weekend. I'm talking this movie up because I just took my kid to see Inception. He really dug that, and so we went to see Tenet. And coming out of the movie, man, it was like this movie was so fucking good, but I have no idea what the fuck it's about. And I know there's people going forward in time, people going backwards in time, but what the plot is, I have no idea. So my review, great fucking movie. I can't wait to see it again because I have no idea what the fuck the movie was about. I've never had that experience before. And I was straight sober, haven't smoked, fine. But I have no idea what the movie's about. I'm like Wikipedia and this shit. Like, as the movie's over, like, what is going on here?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the movies that win Academy Awards are ones at the end of it. You're like, what did I just watch?
Oh, absolutely. And this is no exception. I mean, like, this will win awards, like effects awards. I mean, the action in there was unbelievable. I mean, I watched, I go in these rabbit holes after I see a movie, and Christopher Nolan had filmed all of the fight scenes like forwards and backwards. Like everybody had to learn how to fight backwards because they're going backwards in time. I mean, the cinematography is incredible. They crash a fucking airplane into a building, like a real airplane. I mean, the movie's incredible. Still have no idea what the fuck it's about.
Then I don't think that's a good movie.
It's so entertaining, and
if you can't tell me what the movie was about after watching it, it's not a good movie.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair point. However, I'm gonna go see it again, so I'm gonna drop another $20 because I want to see it again. So that's how he gets you. That's how they're getting you in these COVID times.
And if you still can't figure it out, then it's still not a good movie.
Okay, I'll give you that. If I don't understand, after all the research that I've done on the movie, all the IMDb trivia that I have read, if I still don't get it, by the time I watch it the second time, then I will officially declare it a bad movie. I'll do it on the next show that you're on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But check out my review I posted last night. Me and my kid, we're doing Truckee Pacific reviews where we take movies and we review them. So we did a review of Tenet. My kid, by the way, hated it for the pretty much the same reason that I love it. He hated it, so he's like, that was a terrible movie, and he likes Christopher Nolan movies. Yeah,
that's funny. That's interesting. Now I kind of really want to see it.
Yeah. So Tenet, check us out, Truckee Pacific reviews. All right, so that's what we've been watching. And tonight, I think tonight's going to be great. And I brought two experts in this particular field onto the show with me tonight. Tonight, man, we're talking cartoons. And what a better show to talk about, or a bit of media to talk about for a bunch of stoners than cartoons. I have watched so many cartoons fucking blaze off my ass from when I was a junior in high school to like when I watched Rick and Morty on Sunday night. I mean, I'm so fucking smoking weed and watching cartoons. And so that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking cartoons. So my first question, I'm going to go to you, Santore. Tell me about some of the earliest memories that you have with cartoons.
Oh, I got, like, since my age and everything, I go back to, like, Flintstones, Woody Woodpecker, Bugs Bunny, Deputy Dog, Yogi Bear, all that Boo Boo stuff. Yeah. I'm answering that. That's it.
What about you, Courtney?
I mean, similar. I watched all that stuff on Boomerang, but also I had like Arthur growing up, and then I had and like Blue's Clues and stuff, and then moving on into my love of Looney Tunes, of course, and then like Hey Arnold and Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and like all those awesome shit like Doug, Angry Beavers, Rocko's Modern Life. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like I watched them always when I got home from school, and then every weekend. I just freaking love cartoons, man, all the time.
I love that. What's interesting is that we're from three different, I won't say generations, because Mike and I are in the similar generations, but he's just enough older than me to where like the cartoons I watched growing up was like Smurfs, was Alf, was Captain N and the Power Squad on Saturday mornings. And then your experience with cartoons is more like the stuff that was on Nickelodeon and stuff that was maybe on later at night. And I think it's really interesting that we all have three different experiences when it comes to cartoons.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I feel like I had more access, though.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, we were relegated to ABC, NBC, CBS. NBC had the best Saturday morning cartoons, and it all started with Gummy Bears. Not the greatest show. Greatest theme song, though, of any cartoon I've ever seen.
Gummy Bears. Yeah.
Who can sing it? Santore, do you know the song The Gummy Bears?
Absolutely not.
You don't? What?
No, don't.
Courtney, how does it go?
I actually never watched it, not gonna lie.
You never watched Gummy Bears? Okay, you're a little bit older than me. It was like when I was like 7 and 8, so that makes you like a teenager. So you probably wouldn't watch Gummy Bears, but Courtney knows the theme song to Gummy Bears.
I was gonna say, is it Gummy Bears? Yes, no, is it that? No, it's not. That's
Gummy
funny.
Bears, they're bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yes.
We are the Gummy Bears.
Dang it! I'm usually better with theme songs. That's okay. You want the Thundercats theme song? I got you. Or like any other.
Well, okay? Give us some Thundercats. Come on.
Oh God, thunder! Hold on. Thundercats are on the loose. Thundercats are loose. Hear the magic. Hear the roar. Thundercats are loose. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. And then he goes, and then he does the thing. Thundercats, Thundercats. Ho! That's it.
That was pretty amazing. Santore, I know you know some cartoon theme songs.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. There, everybody. That's all I know.
That's pretty good though. It was good.
That is.
It was kind of a tease. Like I
It
thought I was
was.
gonna get the whole
That's as
theme
far as I'm
song,
gonna go.
but
My singing voice is not that good tonight, so I'm not gonna go ahead
that's
and
okay. I'll let it
hear
slide.
us.
I'll
Right, yes.
YouTube Flintstone thing when we get off tonight.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine.
Courtney, I'm gonna ask you: is your experience with cartoons more in like when you were growing up watching Saturday morning cartoons, or is this something like, oh, my experience with cartoons was more in like after school I went in and threw on Nickelodeon. What's your experience with cartoons?
More after school, I feel like I definitely had like the Saturday morning thing as well, but I feel like it was always like after school I'd come home and have like an hour that I could just watch. I'd watch Arthur and Wishbone, you know, when I was younger, and then it's just like different shows as I got older, but it was always cartoons. So I feel like it's always an after school thing because like the older I got, like there was more weekend activities, so I couldn't always just wake up on Saturdays and watch cartoons.
That's fair. How about you, Santori? Growing up, what were the cartoons that what was your experience with cartoons? Was it more Saturday mornings or before school, after school?
It was before school. I'd watch like an hour of Tom and Jerry, and then after school I would watch Woody Woodpecker, and then there'd be Popeye, and then there'd be um, Deputy Dog would be around, and then the Flintstones. I had them for an hour, so that's it. But on Saturday mornings, it was like I had from 9 o'clock to like noon. I had the Looney Tune hour, or 2 3 hours, which I thought was great. Just nothing but Bugs Bunny and Daffy, and Frog Leghorn, and Sylvester and Tweety. So I had that for 3 hours, and that's what I pretty much stuck to. Just Bugs Bunny and them guys.
If you had a favorite cartoon growing
I
up,
thought he was the
Santori,
greatest. I thought he was the greatest comic ever. Was what's his name? Charles. Can't remember his name. But anyway, yeah, I just like Bugs Bunny a lot.
so what would you say is your favorite cartoon growing up?
Woody Woodpecker.
Why?
Why? Because he's crazy. He was wacky. I like how he liked to piss people off and like just put them all in different kind of shenanigans. He was he was a crazy bird.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans. I thought he was just funny. That was very, 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 very sarcastic, very smart ass, and I like that.
So, Courtney, how have cartoons changed since we were kids?
I mean, a lot of them are like in depth, you know, like sometimes there's not like, okay, I don't know. Some of those cartoons that we watch, like Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life, they have a very adult themes, right? But like when you're watching it, you know, as an adult, you're like, oh God, like some of that stuff is kind of wild. But then it's still the same now. It's just like some of them are like really deep. Like, have you ever watched Adventure Time? Either of you?
Tell me about it.
No. Adventure Time is amazing, but it's like really dense, you know, because it kind of follows the character journey of both Finn and Jake, and so it even talks about like tossing things in the vault in your mind of like things you want to deal with, but like how that kind of comes back to you. So it's like, I don't know, it's that show was on for like I think about almost 10 years, and so you just kind of watch the character journey, you learn, and like it actually kind of goes deeper into like humankind and all that. It's kind of crazy. I really 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 love that cartoon, but I feel like it's less like hidden dirty jokes, more like realness is kind of happening now, like real themes, you know.
So, Santori, do you spend much time these days watching cartoons, and if you do, is it more stuff that you're used to, like the Looney Tunes, or are you watching any of the newer cartoons?
Well, the newer cartoons, no, but I'm really, really, really stuck on South Park. I think Trey Parker and Matthew Stone are just geniuses, and I think like I'm really looking forward to September 30th when they're going to do their thoughts and their process of putting the kids with the pandemic. I like how they keep up with how everything like current affairs. I like how they mock it, make fun of it, and like pretty much put in perspective how people really are acting. And I don't know, I'm just a big fan of South Park. I like them more than anything. I was watching Family Guy and all that, then I just got burnt out. I mean, Family Guy, I think pretty much was on the same concept as The Simpsons and South Park, but Seth just, I don't know, he just burns me out. I'm just over it. But
Yeah,
Yes.
I totally, and I'm 100% agree with you on South Park as well. We had an episode of James's Games where we talked about some of the best sitcoms of the 80s and 90s, and it was The Simpsons, a cartoon,
Okay.
versus South Park, a cartoon.
Yeah.
So, I think that, the best way to really capture um, what pop culture looks like is not really through like traditional sitcoms, it's through cartoons because you have that turnaround. But you have
Right.
to have a bright mind like Trey Parker or Matt Stone in order to uh, like capture that pop culture and say it well, and then keep it being able to last this long. It's been like 20 years since South Park came out.
I know. And then they're still going and still doing it and still keeping up with today's society's, current affairs. And I think that's really fun and really cool. The fact that they can do that and keep it comical. And that's things. This is what the world really needs now is comic relief. And I think that they are doing a great job of it. And the
100%.
Simpsons, of course, too. But
Courtney, where are you still watching cartoons? I know you work a shit ton at work,
Yeah.
but what kind of cartoons are you still watching?
Avatar: The Last Airbender, pretty much always consistently and forever. I love that show so very much. So, that was just
Are
like
you
a
more
casual throw on.
are you more of an anime person, or are you more like the traditional like American goofy cartoon kind of person?
I
Are
definitely
you
think I catered more. I lean more towards American style cartoons. That maybe is like the closest blend that I have. I really don't know too many animes.
no,
But that's probably the extent that it really went for me. And there's like a few things on Toonami, which was a like a late night Cartoon Network thing. I don't know if it's
was
Toonami.
it
You guys
like
know what I'm
Adult
talking
Swim?
about?
Like was it the precursor to Adult
Basic
Swim?
like a pre-Adult Swim, so it's like more adult-ish cartoons, like Dragon Ball Z or something like that. And they had more animes on there, but no, for me, it's mostly been just like cartoons.
What are your favorite of the newer cartoons?
Adventure Time, of course. That one's just such a good show. I also really love Adventures of Gumball. I don't know if you've watched that show, but it's
Yes, it's on Disney, right?
awesome. No, it's on
No, Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network. But also Phineas and Ferb, if we're going to talk Disney, that one's a really good show.
So none of you guys have kids. So and that's not like, oh, you guys don't have kids. When you have kids, you are subjected to whatever the fuck they want to watch. My kid loved Caillou, which is the worst fucking cartoon ever created. I fucking hate Caillou. But he also really enjoyed SpongeBob SquarePants and
Yeah.
Phineas and Ferb. And I
Yeah.
can watch SpongeBob SquarePants and Phineas and Ferb even right now. I'm my wife and kid, they are going back through and rewatching Phineas and Ferb. It is
Mhm.
such a brilliant show. I'm so lucky that my kid decided to watch those two things, because if I was stuck watching more Aquanauts or Backyardigans, I would fucking rip my eyeballs out.
I bet. Yeah, I would too. Even with my little sister growing up, I hated watching all the kids shows, and some
So
of them
bad.
are really creepy and terrible. Ugh. But yeah, no, yeah. I don't know.
I don't
I
have.
feel like the modern cartoons are good. They like a lot of them have gotten like there's some ones that are just like stupid, but I grew up with some stupid shows. Like I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I really didn't like Ed and Eddie very much. I thought that show was just kind of like a lot of dumbness piled on top of a lot more dumbness. Um, and same with like Cow and Chicken, show like that is like eh. But then you can look at Johnny Bravo and kind of argue the same, but like something about Johnny Bravo like makes me giggle when I think about it. So
What are the cartoons you're watching these days, Mr. Santori?
Well, I don't have any kids, but I do watch other people's children. I'm currently watching, a 2-year-old, and what they got going on is Baby Shark. He just loves to hear the Baby Shark theme, and anything that has to do with Baby Shark, and I just want to rip my hair out that's left of it. And
That's why he has no hair, because
that's it. That's it.
That
That's
Baby
it.
Shark is the reason.
It is a reason. I used to be a hippie until that happened. That was like pretty much a couple weeks ago. But no, I'm just kidding. I can relate to the Johnny Bravo thing. I think Johnny Bravo makes me giggle too. I haven't seen Johnny Bravo in a while, but I remember seeing him and it was pretty funny. I like Bravo.
yeah.
I can't. The Baby Shark's probably the same relation as the Caillou is that you were talking about, because that's all. It's just over and over and over again. It's just like, come on.
So you'd be really pissed off if Courtney started busting out the song right now, right?
Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark. Daddy shark.
I think we're gonna Baby Shark. He's pulled out his like eyebrows because he's running out of hair.
We're all gone.
No, man, we just pissed off everybody who's watching our show right now. Is so pissed off because they're gonna have that in their head all fucking night.
Right, and that's what it is. You know, it's just one of those things. Yeah, you just can't get out of your head, and that's what drives me crazy. Because I would leave the house, and like 5 hours later, that someone just creep back in there. So.
Baby Sharks.
Terrible.
I've never seen the show, but I know the theme song is very sad.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. If
don't do the shark, children, man. Don't do the shark.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
All right, Courtney. Looking back, what is the most influential cartoon ever created?
Avatar: The Last Airbender. No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty influential. I guess influential in maybe what way? Because I would argue that Looney Tunes probably. I mean, they used to use it as propaganda, to a certain extent, and then now they do see the revamp of Looney Tunes. They're like funky looking and all that. I don't know. That's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to pinpoint.
That is hard to pinpoint.
All right.
You really can't.
Well, hopefully you can pinpoint it soon because Santore, what is the most influential cartoon ever created?
Well, for me, it's like pretty funny because like when I do drive other people's cars and I like talk shit and I go, hey, I think I can do this. I seen this in a cartoon once, and I like to get them to get scared look on their face, but that could be any cartoon. But just having that comment, I think, is pretty influential. But for me, I think the most influential was the Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry, just because of the fact I grew up with them, and I don't know, they're old school, and I think that from them they kind of like led on to other things. For me, I think for other cartoons to be existing today, just that they were testing the waters back then, and having a coyote chase, a roadrunner for like hours, and like Acme stuff, and just you'll never forget, that kind of influential stuff, like the word Acme and Roadrunner and a coyote and then Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd. And that's another thing, they're taking away the man's gun. I mean, that's the thing that's sad about, you look at the realistic of life and you see how cartoons are cartoons, and then you've been known as a child, don't reenact cartoons. And because, it's cartoon, these people, their cartoons are made on paper and color and all that. So you don't reenact that. And so I think that's influential of the fact that you just get some common sense. And now it's like, I think people are going way too far and getting really ridiculous of, saying, well, we can't have our children watch Elmer Fudd because, he's got a gun, he's a hunter. And it's like, well, it's teaching our kids bad, whatever. Just that kind of stuff just upsets me. So I think that's kind of influential. It's just the fact that people that, think that they're representing like Elmer Fudd's like he's a hunter and you're going to take away his gun. I just think that's just dumb. But that's influential. I don't know if they influence anyone to become a hunter or go kill somebody, but I don't know where I was going with that, but I just remembered thinking about it.
Clearly you have some feelings on this.
I'm going to go back to you, Courtney. I'm going to go back to you, Courtney, because you look like you had a thought pop up.
Oh, I did. I was going to say Simpsons and like South Park, obviously, because they like touch on all of like the super, topical stuff. So that's probably the most influential. And also the Simpsons like called half of the crap that happened in history. So that was my epiphany. Answer. Done.
Yeah.
No rant on guns.
No rant on guns. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored for the first time on the Mile High podcast,
there we go.
Dr. Detroit. This is the first time I've ever met Dr. Detroit. And welcome to Mile High Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Can you guys hear me pretty good?
Yeah, you're good,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, man. Hey, as soon as I got the word, man, I was honored, man. I put everything on hold and said, hey, I gotta participate. So thanks for having me. You guys are awesome. Over the last few days, I've been trying to catch up on what you guys have been doing. So thank you. I'm
Yeah,
honored
thanks
to be
for,
here.
man. Thank you so much for coming on. Tonight we're
Yeah.
talking about cartoons, and so you
Ooh.
just came on. You have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. So right away, tell me about your experience with cartoons. You know, did you grow up watching cartoons, and what were the cartoons that
Yeah.
really influenced your childhood?
Oh yeah, man. You know, it was all about Saturday afternoons and after school. As far as I can go back, I can go way back to like Popeye and like Mighty Mouse, you know. Yeah, I remember Mighty Mouse. That was cool, right?
I
Because
love
like
my
the art and the graphics and all, it wasn't all you know, that sweet. It was just that it was just cool, you know, because it always be hilarious. And like you said, I had to remember as I became an adult and which watch those old cartoons. I'm like, yeah, it is adults writing this stuff, but we were watching it as kids. So a lot of the jokes, a lot of times that they was adult jokes and we didn't get them. They wrote stuff for kids too, but later you go back and you're like, wait a minute, yeah, it was like grown ass people, right?
Was that a dick joke just now?
Yeah.
Right.
I saw this episode when I was 7 years old. They just
Exactly,
made a
right?
dick joke. What?
Yeah. Right.
So, what are some of the cartoons that influenced your childhood growing up?
I mean, definitely Popeye. You know, not that I like spinach, but you know, I really hated spinach, but I liked it because you know he was just like a genuine like American good guy. You know, he was always take care of his family, him and take care of Olive Oil and the babies. You know, and he
Sleepy.
would. Yeah, sweet pea. And he would always stand up to Brutus. Brutus was like 10 times as big as he was, but he always stood up to him, you know. And so I would say that, man, he made you feel like brave. If you thought of Popeye, if you ever faced a situation when I was little, if I had to fight somebody bigger, I would, you know, think about Popeye.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Are you watching any kind of cartoons these days?
Wow. I kind of catch like what my kids are watching.
What are
I
your
mean,
kids watching?
my son is big into anime, and it's I like the storylines behind it, but it's hard for me to follow because you know he's trying to explain it to me because they're like the fight sequences is like make me dizzy. They're like fighting, but then the scene freezes and slides to the side. Then they're fighting and throwing 1,000 punches. He's watching like Dragon Ball Z. That's what it is, and he's explaining all these, you know, super intricate, complicated powers that they have, but they're into it. So I watch it because like my kids into it. I got to try to figure out what it is. So I kind of just watch what they watch. If I do watch something, I watch old Flintstones episodes on YouTube. You know.
Man, it's like you and Santori are like brothers of another mother. He was talking about Flintstones earlier.
Yeah, that's my stuff right there, Flintstones,
Love
man.
Fred. Love
Right.
Fred and Barney.
So I'm gonna shoot you one last question. Then we're
Sure.
all caught up. Looking
Okay.
back, what do you think is the most influential cartoon?
Like of the influential, like of our society, our world.
Whatever. You know, there
Um,
was a cartoon that was influential to Santori, like personally, and then there,
oh,
you know, Courtney was talking about like more on a social level. So, you know, it's
mm,
up to you. Whatever you, however you define it.
wow. Um, well, I think that I won't say the Flintstones. I say the Jetsons. I'll say the Jetsons.
Jetsons. Nice.
Because I think it kind of made people, even subconsciously or not, it made you kind of look towards the future in your mind, like, wow, is this what stuff going to be? And you start talking about flying cars, you know, even back then. But now when I see it and I see him talking through televisions and things like that, I'm like, wow, okay, that stuff was real. Back then, it was going to really happen. So I think that was because I think it made people think forward, you know. At least the kids do. I don't know, but at least us watching, I think in our little childhood minds, we were like, wow, that's kind of cool. I wonder if that's possible to talk to somebody on a screen with a bunch of faces. And now we're doing it right now.
Exactly.
Man, Dr. Detroit
Yeah.
coming on with the heat. Man,
Yeah.
firing on all. That's great. So
Oh,
my
man.
personal feeling, and James is gonna love this because James is like the biggest Disney fan. I fucking
Oh,
think Steamboat Willie, man, that
yeah.
launched an empire. That one cartoon, and then Snow White as the most influential movie. I mean, you know, look at how far we've come. Look at the movies that they're making, and they're cartoons. Look at Frozen. I mean, incredible. And it all started with Steamboat Willie. So I think that's the most influential cartoon. I think The Simpsons probably has the greatest impact on current pop culture.
Mhm.
They've been around so long that they have seen so many different things, and they're so good that they're prognosticating. They're calling for.
Predicting the
They're
future.
predicting the future. That's how fucking good those writers are. They can
That's
predict
scary,
the
man.
future.
They know
That's why
something.
they're so good.
I mean, how do
They're
they do
time
that?
travelers.
That's,
The
yeah,
time
it's,
travelers.
it's
They
scary.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they went and saw Tenet. Christopher Nolan. Did they learn how to like go back in time and forward in time? I don't know. I don't fucking know how they do it. I don't know anything.
It's scary, man. I don't know what those guys are doing over there, but yeah, I'd agree. I'm glad you, man. I wish I'd done more homework, but you hit it right on the head, man. Steamboat Willie, that was it.
It
And
all started with a mouse.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
that
All
really
right.
set it off.
All right, Dr. Detroit. Before we head out, man, we always do this on all our Mile High podcasts. Normally, we start with this, but tonight, because you're a special guest, we're going to end with it. What are you watching? What are you watching these days?
Wow. I don't watch like necessarily series. I usually try to catch up on. I mean, not that I don't watch series, but I'll find something on Netflix.
Like
And
what?
then
What are you
I'll
watching?
usually. But what only show that I would say that I'm watching is Walking Dead. That's the one thing that I claim that I've been following, for the last 4 or 5 years. Everything else I kind of try to jump in, and then after a while I don't catch up with it. So I'm not one that like my neighbors are like, oh, what was the one with the Vikings, man? I feel bad at that. It was huge.
Vikings?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. So every time I go to their house, they were doing the Game of Thrones references. And for like a couple of weeks, I was playing along, and until I got caught that I didn't know what the hell. And I just told I said I hadn't watched. They're like, oh man, what the hell? You got to go all the way back to da da da. So that's why I would be like, screw it. I haven't been keeping, but Walking Dead, that's my show.
Awesome. Are you all caught up? Are you current?
No, because I'm behind, but I like that because I like to wait to sit and binge like about, I don't like to wait another week. It just messes with my head. So I like to get like 4 or 5 weeks in so I can sit and just watch them back to back.
Nice. Unfortunately, I don't know if you heard this week they announced that The Walking Dead is coming to an end. And so I think they have another season, but it's a really long season spread over 2 years. But then it's going to be done. So I'm
Are
sorry
they going
to
with that?
tell you.
Oh yeah, wow, I didn't know
But
that.
there's like 13 other Walking Dead like series that are like around it. So I think you're going to be okay.
Those little spinoffs. That's what I hope they don't screw it up. Oh, but you know what? I want to see it. Tell me if I'm right about this. What with these shows? It seems like Lost did it. It's like when you talked about what shows influence these type of series. That when it was Lost, it's like the writers, you can tell they were writing as they went along, and they got to a certain point and just start making up crap, right? But it seems like that kind of set a standard, and everybody else start figuring out how to do it, where you can have these long series. It's like a bunch of cliffhangers, like all kind of hung together. It's what kind of remind me of Lost was like the first one that did that.
Do you know there was a sitcom in the late 70s, early 80s called Soap, which is a sitcom, but it had very similar. Like every week, it left off with a little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So,
Courtney,
if you haven't watched Soap, you got to go back and watch Soap. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So-
awesome, man. It had a lot of stars. Billy Crystal.
Yes.
Wow, it had a lot of. Oh man, I used to love it because it come on at night. I was supposed to be in bed. I lived with my grandmother, but she didn't know. She was old, so she would let me watch it. And it was, it was kind of risque for like a 10-year-old.
Right.
Definitely. All right. So that was it. Final words on cartoons, anyone? I'm going to start with you, Courtney. Final words on cartoons.
They're my fucking favorite. Like all day, every day, I'll never stop watching cartoons forever until I die.
How about you, Dr. D?
Oh man, I'd have to agree. Honestly, I got to watch more of them. It's times when I really, you can, I don't care what age you are, you can be having a bad day, feeling bad, man, and you can pop on a cartoon and it just takes your mind away and it takes you back to your childhood. So definitely, I think those guys knew what they were doing when they came up with cartoons.
Yep.
All right, Santori.
Yeah,
Final
not
word
to
on
sound
cartoons.
not sound like non-original, but yeah, cartoons forever. I love cartoons. I'd rather watch cartoon than a reality TV show or a bad sitcom. Cartoons.
My final word on cartoons. It is, you can't have a society without cartoons. I mean, it is the most connective way to get your message and your voice out there, because everybody loves cartoons. I don't know anybody who doesn't love cartoons. We might like different cartoons, but in those different cartoons that we like, you'll find another group of people who likes that stuff. And so like we're all connected by our love of cartoons. And then like you can, become like, it's more personal to you, like depending on the kind of cartoon. Like there's some pretty avant-garde cartoons out there that has a very big audience. And folks like you, Courtney, and you, Dr. D, like your kid, who love anime. That's a different cartoon, but it's still a cartoon. And then there's James, who loves the Disney movies. Anything Disney, that's his cartoons. And then you have fucking Santore, who's going back and watching the old school cartoons. And I'm watching Bob's Burgers when I go to bed every night. I mean, like, we all have a personal connection to cartoons. That's one of the few things that we can all say that kind of brings us together, is our love of cartoons. So that's my final word on cartoons. All right.
I love it.
Now I'm going to get down off my soapbox. Now is our round of plugs. So this is where you get to tell us what you're trying to sell. So Santore, I know you're. Tell us what do you want to plug tonight?
I want to plug the Santore project. Mary Beth and I are on the road. We're traveling. We're doing some films. Please, check us out on that. And also, What Now on Wednesday nights with me and Dr. Detroit. Check that out on Santore's page. Also on the Santore's project page, and Drunky Pacific, and
and Spotify. Now on Spotify and Apple Podcast and SoundCloud.
Yes, that's right. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that, Dr. D. We got Spotify.
Surprise.
We got.
You're
we
all
got
over the
Spotify.
place now.
Yes,
Wow.
we got Spotify.
We put you under contract. Didn't even know you did it.
I didn't even know. I just go with it. I just go with it. I just go with it. Wow.
All right,
yeah.
Courtney, what are you plugging?
Little Mechanico, where I work.
Oh,
We
nice.
sling dope. No, we grow people, plants, and community. We're here
All
to
right.
service all your cannabis needs. Your cannabis experience brand. Come shop.
She is my drug dealer friend. Everybody always has one drug dealer friend, and that's
got to.
Courtney. She's my one drug dealer friend.
You got to.
All right,
But-
Dr. D, what are you plugging?
Oh, actually, I'm plugging. I don't know if you see it. Audio Cyto. You can't really see it. I gotta get but it's Audio Cyto Music. It's spelled like audio and then Cyto, CYDAL. But anyway, it's like my independent, way of producing music. And also, if you look on Audio Cyto on SoundCloud, and you'll see the stuff we're working on. Mostly, I just been really out there trying to independently work. I'm not trying to do record deals or that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of big corporate music. I really want to work with grassroots people, and I'm just really looking to work with artists. I send music out, they send it back, I add pieces to it, and also, wow, I don't know if you know about it, Santore, of course, like just an awesome guitar player. He's been sending guitar licks, and so we've been doing some projects with that. He'll send me like 20, 30 guitar licks, and then I'm putting them to some tracks. So that's the really most important thing I'm working on, to see how we can kind of blend that in everything. But other than that, I'm just hanging out with Mike and seeing how I can support what he's doing and Truckee Pacific, and we're going to keep it rocking.
All right, I want to tell you something, Dr. Detroit. This is the first time I've ever met you, but I have heard about you for like 20 years. So
No way.
all of the people that I surround myself with, like I've known DW and James for a really long time. They have been talking about you since they came back to Colorado. So I'm so glad to finally meet you. Everybody says nothing but really good shit about you.
Thank you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So my quick plug, Dr. D, I am an author. I write a sci-fi series called Race Through Space Event Horizon.
Wow.
So that is my book that is available now in paperback on Amazon. So if you can go to Amazon, Race Through Space Event Horizon, that's my latest book. Also, we have Truckee Pacific Reviews, which is my review show I do with my kid. That is up on Facebook right now. And then the Santore Project. The Santore Project is so fucking good. I can't tell you guys enough. Santore is so good. And Mary Beth, I'm going to give a shout out to Mary Beth, who's driving most of the time, doing all the videos. And I don't think we're going to give her a lot of love here on Truckee Pacific and Mile High Podcast, because she's killing it. And you guys are doing a great job. So
thank you. Thank you.
All right, so that was it. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you.
Go to www.truckiepacific.com. Join us next week for James's Games. Courtney will be there. I'll be there. We're going to try to get maybe Santore and Dr. Detroit will be there too. Who knows? We'll talk about it, but we'll see you guys next Friday. Have a good night.
All
Good night.
right. See you.
See you.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice.
Nice.
It's still live.
We're still live, but I'm just gonna stay here like not moving,
So make it.
so people think that the screen's frozen. You guys can go. You guys did. Thank you so much for joining us. I
All right,
really
we
appreciate you guys, especially you, Dr. D. Man, I was like, fuck, like I can imagine like, all right, Santori's on a show and wants me to jump on. I'm gonna drop everything I'm doing in my life.
Yeah, hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna go
man.
talk about some cartoons.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. It's right up my alley, man. So it's awesome. I'm looking to hang out with you. I'm looking to really learn a whole lot more about this platform, and especially by you being a writer, I really definitely want to take some lessons from you on that, because that obviously takes a lot of dedication. Because in my head, I can run through the whole script from the beginning of the movie and tell it to you in about 15 minutes, but writing detail and characters and all that stuff is just wow, just a talent. So I'm gonna get your book as soon as I get off. I'm gonna download it. I mean, not download it, but buy it.
That's all right. You can steal it. I don't care as long as you read it. I don't give a fuck. Steal it. I'll send you a Word copy so you can just like print it off on your printer. I don't give a shit.
No, I'll buy the
Yeah,
book.
do whatever you want to. Yeah,
I'll buy it.
we're gonna find some shows for you. We're gonna find some shows for you coming up here.
Sure.
Yeah, and whenever you want to chat, man, I'm an email
Okay.
or text away. I don't talk to people on the phone, so that is a lost
Okay.
cause.
Ah,
If you-
I like that. Ooh,
I
so you
text and I
gotta
email.
talk.
That's it, man.
So
I don't,
have you and Mike had that conversation yet? Because he
no.
Oh, okay. I'll let y'all have that conversation between text or should you call people, because he got some strong feelings on that.
Yeah, I don't.
If you're not
I don't
dying,
like.
or if you're not dying, then I don't.
Well,
give
that's
a
the
fuck.
thing.
Don't call
That's
me.
the thing. I
If
don't
you're,
like texting. I don't like texting because one day, man, I will not be able to hear your voice ever again. So that's why I don't text, because I want to keep hearing your voice.
This has been a Truckee Pacific production. For sponsorship inquiries and comments, go to themilehighpodcast@gmail.com.